I want to say thank you because I feel very welcome here first. I wrote this down. Oh, wow, I can't read my handwriting. My understanding is that less materialistic beings who have the true welfare of the planet at heart are not as well versed in the leadership positions on Earth. Is there a universal law of leadership that will help these non-materialistic leaders to reach the top before they are drummed out? So that non-materialistic people will be in the position to say, fix our cars in the first place, and will not have to go 4 or 5 different stations before our vehicle is fixed. In other words, I feel that materialistic people are in positions of fixing our cars. And the cars are not being fixed because they're doing it for money, where someone who's not materialistic, not as materialistic, will get the job done. And you won't have to go to 4 or 5 different stations. That's unconscionable to me, to get the car fixed properly.
Oh, but you have to understand that them getting their car fixed wasn't about the people who were fixing it. It was about them. In other words, when you're out of alignment, yes, the most brilliant scientist in the world cannot be brilliant for you.
But wouldn't it be nice that people are in the position, whether you are in, whether you're off color or upstream or downstream, they still know their job? It just seems to the people that, okay.
Well, we have to tell you that what you're asking for here really is happening. And here's what we mean by this. So what you are suggesting is, wouldn't it be nice if there were a buffer of well-being that was significant enough that it would bathe all of the people in the planet, so even when somebody's really out of sync, that they could still benefit by the spiritual upliftment of the well-being that surrounds? And we say, oh boy, do you ever have this on this planet Earth? In other words, if this were not a benevolent, yielding environment that is based only upon this stream, the only stream that flows of well-being, you all would have discreated yourself long ago. In other words, there are so many thoughts that man offers that push against so many things, and we promise you, the generations of asking, the eons of asking, and the holding of what you're asking for by the source energy, well-being abounds. What you're asking for exists, you see. And the only reason that we have these conversations with you is because we know you could be so much happier. We know you could go so much more with the flow if you just understood the basic premise of this universe. And so that's why we seek to express to you in logical manner the premise of the universe and the laws that make it go, so that you can get in sync with them and live your life and love living your life in this physical body. There isn't one of you who comes forward from non-physical and spends time here in this co-creative environment who doesn't contribute mightily to the vibrational escrow and subsequently become that non-physical essence that has benefited by all that you've lived. And not one of you ever looks back with even a little bit of regret about what took place, because you so embrace the expanded version of you. And so there isn't one of you who ever feels any regret about life experience, no matter how it appeared to you while you were living it. And so there isn't anything that we need to do. We haven't come forth as teachers because we're trying to fix a universe that's broken or get something back on track, because nothing is off track. Everything is exactly as all of us have wanted it to be. The reason that we are having these chats with you now is because in your physical form, you are asking, how can I make it better? Why isn't life more fun? I innately know that things are supposed to go more easily. Why aren't they not? In other words, we come in answer to the questions that you are asking. But the thing that is so funny about that is that we come forth in response to the questions that you are asking, but you can't hear our answers when you're standing in the stance of asking the questions that you're asking. And so we have to tell you the whole story. We have to remind you of all of the laws of the universe and who you really are. We have to bring you back around to remembering who you are. And then when you remember consciously who you are in the framework of those questions that you're now asking, now You can be the joyful beings riding that wave that you have intended. We promise you nothing is more delicious in all of the universe than to be source energy flowing through the physical life of one of you. That's what it's like for us. That's the benefit that you all provide for us in this expanding universe. We're just here to return the favor. We're just here to help you remember who you are and to get in sync with who you are, you see. We promise you, nothing is at risk here. This is a magnificent environment that is eternal in nature. None of it is at risk. But you might be pinching yourself off from some of the joy of it, and we don't think that that is necessary. Do you?
No, I think I'm asking more for a learning. Is there such a thing as a universal law of leadership, such as a universal law of attraction? So leaders that feel disempowered will have a baseline, because I was totally empowered by your base law of attraction, law of creation. That's a base law which I'm totally empowered by. Is there a universal law of leadership, or is that a non-question? Is that just the wrong question?
Well, there is no wrong question, and we understand why you would ask such a question. In your mind's eye, how would that play out? If such a law of leadership existed, what would that mean to you?
A universal law. Is this word leadership a man-made word? Like you're saying, the law of attraction apparently is a universal word. Creation is a universal word. Is leadership a man-made word?
This is a provocative question. When someone is a leader, it means they have a strong, active vibration going about something. They've focused upon something long enough that they've activated it in a strong enough way that it has amassed some momentum. That's why there are leaders on just about every subject in the world. So let's say that a person has given attention to something and they've activated a vibration about it, and now they're beginning to attract others. There's a sort of momentum going about it. And here's what we think you're driving at with your question. If someone has an idea and that idea is in sync with who they really are and what they really know, will law of attraction help them in a more powerful way because they're in sync with the laws of the universe in their leadership position than if they've just got some screwy idea that they conjured on their own? That
is my answer. That's the answer. I got it. I felt it. Thank you.
That was easy.
When you get there, you're there.
Well, you brought us into a brave new world that we want to expand just a little further because...
Okay, I'll go with you. I'm happy there.
Glad you got it. We haven't figured it out yet.
Okay.
We just wanted to cap that off by saying that you are who you are before you come forth into this body. And what you are is well-being and upliftment and goodness. And so it's possible for someone to get hold of an idea and become a leader who pushes very hard against a lot of things. But that leadership in that anger and that fervor and that fear-mongering and that pushing against is momentum that law of attraction is responding to, but it's far different from being in alignment with who you really are. True leadership must come from a being who is in alignment, and that doesn't mean that people won't follow just about anybody. But when you are truly in alignment with who you are, and now you are presenting your ideas, and law of attraction is responding, that is the momentum. That is the basis of this stream of well-being that we're talking about. We say to you that there is not a stream of badness and a stream of goodness. There's only the stream of well-being which you're flowing with or not. And when you get crossways of that powerful stream of well-being, it beats you up pretty good. And even the best among you would say, this is a bad stream. Look what it's doing to me. You don't walk into a room and find a dark switch. There's not a switch that you flip that makes inky, misty darkness come in and cover up the light. There's only a stream of well-being. There's only a stream of light. There's only a stream of wellness. There's only a stream of goodness, you see. And so this leadership that we think that you are reaching for, we want you to understand that you're reaching for the combining of you with you. And when you lead from that place of connection, and law of attraction is responding to you, now life-changing things are happening. And here's the reason that we wanted to go further with this answer to this wonderful question. Billions of people, for more years than you can count, have been living life and offering desire to vibrational escrow. And Source has been answering, and your world has been evolving. And we want you to contemplate on the vastness of that resource. We want you to contemplate on how much living and how much asking has created this powerful, 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 powerful stream of well-being, you see. And when you get that, when you understand what that's like, then we don't have to have any more discussions about whether upstream's a good idea or not, because it just isn't, you see. Good.
Thank you. That's the answer.
So as you get this sense of who you really are, then you begin to understand that while it does feel better, the better you feel, the better it is. Your work cannot be, if you are feeling despair or fear, your work cannot be to all of a sudden jump over here into love and appreciation. You can't do it. The stream doesn't work that way, and neither does law of attraction. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies have to match up. So you can't make that quantum leap. Well, you do when you die real fast. When you withdraw your consciousness from this physical form, you move so quickly into the fullness of that which you are. Oh, in fact, did you get a picture of that? Do you understand that you are source energy and you come to live life and to expand further? And that the non-physical part of you took the expansion whether the physical part of you did or not? And that when you die, you are the expanded version of you? And can you imagine, if you think about the vibrational escrow that you are creating as you're sifting through your life experience, isn't it delicious just to get your thoughts around the idea of the mass consciousness vibrational escrow? Can you imagine what that must be? All of the people who have lived all of the lives, who have lived all of the stuff they don't want and now know more clearly what they do want. Can you feel what this non-physical energy essence, this vibrational escrow of all of humanity has come to? And do you know that that is the vantage point from which the new energies come forth into physical bodies? Now you understand the generation gap. Now you understand why the babies know they're so much smarter than you. Now you understand why they insist that they know what they're doing while you don't think that they do. Because you're comparing your short physical life and you're remembering all the hardships that you've lived, and you want to make sure that they understand every hardship that they might live. And you're saying to them, oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. And they're saying, oh, you don't understand, all is well. You say, no, all is not well. You must watch out. Fortunately, the dilution ratio is working in your favor, because old ornery ones are croaking and new fresh ones are coming in. And every now and again, we get hold of a cluster of old ones like you who come into vibrational alignment without croaking. How refreshing that is. Who understand the flow, who understand that you are eternal beings, and who get a sense of the deliciousness of this stream. So we want you to understand that while it is good to feel good, that we do not want you to feel that you must turn in the stream and move rapidly. We just want you to understand that all you have to do is let go of the oars. The stream will turn you and it will move you. And as it moves you, everything that you want is in the path once you begin moving in that direction. But what humans do is you go to sleep and you forget what you're worried about. And so you begin to move a little bit. And then you remember and you turn back against current. And then you have a nice conversation with someone and you begin to go with the flow. And then you have a bad conversation with someone. And then you watch a movie that makes you feel really good. And then you turn on the movie that makes you feel really bad. In other words, most people are offering most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. And most people are sort of sloppily, we love you, sloppily, we do love you, looking all over the place, not being very deliberate deliberate about what you turn your attention to. And so you have downstream thoughts and upstream thoughts, but mostly you aren't in control of which direction you're focused in the stream.